Hi, everyone. Welcome to week one of AJS192 Serial Killers and Mass Murders. I hope you enjoyed some time off over the winter break. We're able to spend some time with family, friends, and just kind of recharge your batteries. It's also hard to believe that the spring semester is now starting. Class starts this Monday. I wanted to take a few minutes to kind of review what you should expect this week, and then what you can expect in the coming weeks. If you haven't done so already, please take a few minutes to look at the welcome message that I posted last week when the Canvas class opened up, um, and kind of become familiar with what to expect as far as the reading material goes, assignments, etc., etc. Um, I will be posting videos similar to this one at the beginning of every week so that you have know what to expect for the coming week and to briefly review what we covered in this past week. Obviously, we're not going to be covering anything we reviewed this week simply because this is our first week of class together. So please take some time to go into Canvas if you haven't done so already. Again, class starts on Monday. Monday is a holiday, so there's no official, you're not required to do anything on this Monday. You might want to take the opportunity with some time off to kind of just get ahead a little bit on some of your work on the Module 1 work, read the material, etc., etc. So let's jump into it. Like I said, hopefully you've already taken some time to become familiar with what the class is about, what we're going to be doing this semester. If you haven't done that yet, please make sure you do so. So as we look into Module 1, into Canvas, just to let you know what the week one's about. Week one is always just like everything else in class, is kind of the easiest week of the class. It's an introductory week, and we're gonna introduce ourselves to each other and introduce the idea of serial killers and mass murders. Please make sure that you review the material in Module 1 overview in Canvas. You only have one short reading assignment in an article entitled Our Obsession with Serial Killers. The reason why I didn't require anything from the textbook, I know sometimes students can have some problems getting the textbooks before the first week of class. So this week we'll give you the opportunity to get that textbook, and if you are having problems getting it, you can reach out to technical support to kind of get that material, or get access to the textbook. If you don't have access to it, you please try to do so by week 2 because you will need it for some of the reading material in week 2. Um, so week 1 is an article entitled Our Obsession with Serial Killers. It was published by a news agency called The Gazelle. It's a little bit older. It's from 2019, so it's a pre-pandemic type of thing. So make sure you read through it. It kind of just overviews why Americans are so obsessed with the ideas of serial killers and true crime in general. Why? Just think about that. That's actually one of your discussion questions this week. Is why do you think that we as a society are just so um, enthralled with some of the more gruesome stories that are made by humanity? Why are we obsessed with guys like Jeffrey Dahmer or John Wayne Gacy and stuff like that? Why do we watch movies about these guys? Why do we watch or listen to podcasts about them? Just why in general are we so obsessed with things like this? The article isn't too long, so it just kind of introduces the topic of some of these people who we will be referring to in class, what their stereotypes are, et cetera, et cetera. There's also a YouTube video that I like. It's not a YouTube video. It's actually a podcast called It's put out by Justice Today, and it's Cold Cases and Serial Killers. It's part 2 of a case of a podcast that talks about these types of situations. It's 27 minutes, so you guys are going through other things in Canvas and kind of becoming familiar with what to expect in the class. You might want to take some time to have this playing in the background. You have 2 assignments this week. One of the assignments is to respond to the discussion questions. And if you look at the discussion questions, they're pretty straightforward. This is the only week where I'm going to require you to answer all of the questions. In future assignments, you're only required to answer one of the questions. In this particular week, you're going to be introducing yourself. What's your name? What's your majors? What are your career goals? What inspired you to reach these career goals? In other words, why do you want to be what you want to be? And then it's that discussion question that I mentioned just a minute ago is why do you think what do you think the reason is people are so obsessed with serial killers and mass murders? In other words, why are we so obsessed with this true crime subculture? It's just kind of a recent phenomenon that people are really kind of jumping on the bandwagon about. So when you do these discussion questions, your responses to every discussion question should be about 100 to 150 words. It should be very meaningful. It shouldn't be something like just like a short one answer or one sentence answer. Um, your responses to the discussion questions are due by Thursday of every week. So by this Thursday, please make sure you answer these discussion questions. And then you need to respond to at least one classmate or myself by Saturday. And so for you to earn full credit for these discussion questions, you need to do so by the deadlines. If you do it late, you could and probably will lose some deduction in points. You also could lose points if you don't respond in a meaningful manner. More specifically, to a response to a classmate, a lot of students will say, "Hey, John, I liked your idea about the typologies for serial killers." That's not very meaningful manner. That's not very meaningful. Um, so make sure you do that. Typically, I'll give you a warning for those types of things, but if you keep doing it, I'm going to deduct points for those types of things. So please make sure you do that. You also have the syllabus quiz this week. The syllabus quiz is due by January 19th, which I believe is on Friday. Just let me double check that just to make sure, but I am pretty sure that is the date it is due. Yes, Friday, January 19th. So all your response to your discussion questions is due by Thursday, January 18th. Your quiz is due on Friday, January 19th, and the response to your classmates is due on Saturday, the 20th. So make sure you get those done in a timely manner. That really wraps up what we will be covering this week, because again, it's a pretty easy week, just kind of an introductory week. So hopefully you don't find it too difficult. When we move on to Module 2, we're going to actually start jumping into the material. We're going to compare the differences between serial killers and mass murderers. We're going to talk a little about the history and frequency of serial killing and mass murders. And we're going to talk about the motivations involved in multiple murders. Multiple murders is an umbrella that both serial killers and mass murderers fall under. Your reading material for next week, not this week, is chapters 1 and chapter 2. It's about 35 pages or so between the two chapters. There's also an article entitled The Importance of Relevance. And there's also another video called America is Obsessed with Serial Killers. The only assignment you'll have next week are discussion questions, and then starting in module 3, we'll actually get into some a little bit more work. So I always hated when I was in class when instructors would overload you or in the early weeks, especially in a 16-week class. Sometimes it has to be done in like a shorter class, but in a 16-week class, I like to spread things out a little bit more. So we're going to have a kind of a slow start to the semester as far as assignments go, and then as we go on towards the end of the semester, things are going to be kind of backloaded a little bit. Like in the last 2 weeks, you have 2 essentially 100-point assignments with your research project and your final exam, which we'll get into in the coming weeks. So that is everything you need to know for this week. I look forward to meeting you guys, albeit online in an online persona. But I do look forward to working with you and learning as much from you as you learn from me. I did want to kind of point out one thing that's not really class related, but kind of is class related. On Friday night, March 1st, there is a, I don't know what you want to call it. I almost want to call it a concert, but it's not. Let me give it a second to look it up. Of serial. There's a seminar, I guess you could say, for lack of a better term. It's a lady, a doctor who talks about kind of her experience. Her name is Dr. Rachel Tolles, and she's a preeminent psychologist on serial killers and mass murderers, primarily serial killers. And she's going to be giving a presentation at the Orpheum Theater, what she talks about what makes a serial killer and why do they commit such horrific crimes, what drives them to murder, do they share common traits with other mass killings. There's a whole bunch of things she's going to be covering, and you can ask questions as well. If this is something you think you might want to attend, let me know. Unfortunately, there is a cost associated with it, but if you do attend it, we could talk about how it could impact your grade in this class. In other words, you might be able to earn a little bit of extra credit for attending it. But we'll talk about that if that's something you want to get into. I'll be in attendance there because I think it's just something that I think is really valuable to learn. But if that's something you're interested in, please send me a message and I will could send you the link on how you can get tickets to it. Again, there's a cost associated with it, so it's not a free thing. But it's not anything by any means that you have to attend, but it's something you want to attend. I'm more than welcome or more than willing to kind of discuss it with you during class time. So again, that wraps up everything you need to know for Module 1. I will be posting these messages every Monday morning so that you can have access to the material and know what to expect for the week. But until then, I will see you in class. Have a good week and good luck.